Hello everyone, welcome to the 160 Literary and Jury Charge. I have a word list for my first article that I'm going to be reading to you, okay? It's actually part two of an article that we had just read in the previous Literary and Jury Charge, and it's on metals, okay? So we have aluminum, magnetic, nickel, zinc, corrode, alloyed, lead, tin, protective, utensils, abundant, decorative, gravity, tarnished, chemical, tensile, and centuries. All right, here's your article. Ready? Aluminum is the third most abundant element in the Earth's crust. The truly outstanding property of this metal is its lightness. The specific gravity of aluminum is only 2.7 as compared to 19.3 for gold. Objects made of aluminum do not easily corrode. Aluminum is an ideal metal for making pots, pans, utensils, and decorative metal trim. Zinc, lead, and tin are very much alike. They lack tensile strength and are soft. Zinc melts at 419.5 degrees, lead at 327.4 degrees, and tin at 231.9 degrees. All three of these metals are normally used as protective coatings on other metals. Nickel is normally alloyed with other metals to take advantage of its resistance to chemical attack, its toughness, and its magnetic qualities. Nickel steels are among the strongest and toughest known. The United States coin, the nickel, is less easily tarnished than any other, as it contains 25% nickel. The rest is copper. Nickel-copper coins have been used for centuries. All right. I have an article here. This is called Home Remedies Even Doctors Love. All right, here we go. Ready? A few months ago, I came down with a whopping cold. Like any other self-respecting health writers, the first thing I did was call Mom. After consoling me, as only mothers can, she told me to make some chicken soup. But while I was buying ingredients, a friend told me, "Don't take chicken soup for a cold. It's just an old wives' tale." How do you know which home remedies really work? The treatments detailed here have been found to be effective by scientific experts as well as by people like you and me. For colds, yes, chicken soup. Mom was right. Doctors have long believed that drinking any hot liquid eases cold symptoms, but research has proved that hot chicken soup is especially beneficial. In a study of ways to clear up nasal mucus, doctors at Miami's Mount Sinai Medical Center compared sipping chicken soup, hot water, and cold water. The soup was the most effective. Chicken soup has a decongestant effect, says Mount Sinai's Dr. Bruce Krieger. For sore throats, salt gargle. Liquids soothe a scratchy throat and help wash phlegm away. Gargle 4 or 5 times a day with a solution of 1/2 to 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 cup of warm water. Make sure the liquid is not hot. And note that scalding will irritate the throat if too hot. For hangovers, water. It is never pleasant to wake up in the morning after with your mouth full of cotton and your head throbbing. Your best cure, don't overindulge. The night of the party, Drink a tall glass of water after every alcoholic drink and another glass of water before you go to bed. This helps slow down overall alcohol consumption. And since alcohol is a diuretic, drinking lots of water helps replace lost fluids and prevent dehydration. For insomnia, take a hot bath. It's true, a nice hot soak, not scalding, before bedtime can help you sleep better. A hot bath raises your core body temperature, explains Cynthia Dorsey, director of the Sleep Health Center at McLean Hospital in Belmont, Massachusetts. Afterward, your body will cool down, which may be associated with deeper sleep. In one study, 9 women with insomnia took a hot bath 1.5 hours before bedtime for 2 nights in a row. The next week, the same group took a lukewarm bath. The women experienced deeper, more restful sleep after the hot bath than the lukewarm one. For yeast infections, yogurt. Eating yogurt can reduce or help reduce yeast infections, according to a study in the Annals of Internal Medicine. The acidophilus cultures in yogurt help create a more normal bacterial environment, says Dr. Mary Kim Bunnell, an OB/GYN at Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston. She recommends eating a cup of yogurt every day. Just be certain it says contains live acidophilus cultures on the label. For nausea, ginger. Ginger can do more than just to just add zip to cakes and cookies. The herb can also help relieve nausea. In one Danish study of 30 women with morning sickness, most of them felt less nauseated after taking ginger. Ginger may also help prevent motion sickness. Dr. Adrian Berman, chairperson of the National Women's Health Network, recommends drinking a cup of ginger tea 30 minutes before a trip. To make the tea, take a piece of fresh ginger about the size of your knuckle, skin and dice it, and put it in a mug with a little water and a little sugar. Pour boiling water over the mixture and steep for 5 minutes. Berman doesn't recommend ginger ale. Its ginger content is usually too low. For urinary tract infections, cranberry juice. Doctors often recommend drinking lots of fluids to flush out bacteria, but there's something about cranberry juice that makes it even more effective. Cranberry juice prevents bacteria from sticking to the lining of the urinary tract, says Dr. Bunnell. If you're prone to these infections, a Journal of the American Medical Association study recommends drinking 10 ounces of cranberry juice every day to lower your risk. In some people, the juice's high acid content can cause irritation, says Bunnell. If this happens to you, she recommends diluting the juice with water. If this doesn't help, stop drinking the juice completely. For itchy skin, oatmeal or baking soda. Some cereal is good for more than your insides. Soaking in an oatmeal bath can soothe a myriad of skin irritations, including insect bites and sunburn. Fill your tub with tepid water and add 1 to 2 cups of oatmeal, suggests Dr. Lenore Kakita, a dermatologist at UCLA Medical Center. Oatmeal will help stop the itch. Baking soda can also calm the hurt of bee stings or skin rashes. To soothe a bee sting, make a paste of baking soda and water and apply it to the skin. For overindulgence, pineapple. If you've eaten too much, a bit of fresh pineapple may make you feel better. It's loaded with an enzyme that helps you digest protein, Dr. Berman says. Lots of interesting and neat facts there. All right, I have some jury charge, and this is a general jury charge. Okay, ready? The test to be given to testimony is not merely the number of witnesses, but rather the weight to which the testimony of such witness or witnesses is entitled. And in determining this question of weight and credibility, you have a right to, and you should consider the conduct of the witnesses on the stand, their manner on the stand, their relation to the parties, if any, their degree of intelligence, their interest in the case, if any, their bias and prejudice, if any, the reasonableness or unreasonableness of their statements, the opportunity for ascertaining or being correctly informed as to the matters concerning which they testify. A witness is presumed to tell the truth. This presumption, however, may be overcome by the manner in which such witness testifies, as well as by other circumstances or conditions, such as may be used in testing the credibility of any witness, as I have heretofore instructed you. If you are convinced that a witness has sworn falsely to a material matter, and being convinced that such false testimony was not the result of mistake or inadvertence, but willfully given with the design to deceive, then all of the testimony of such witness should be disregarded by you, unless such testimony or any portion thereof may be supported by other testimony entitled to greater weight, or for other reasons you may be convinced that the witness has testified truthfully as to a portion of his or her testimony. You should not consider any statement of an alleged fact made by counsel during the trial as evidence in the case, unless such matter is stipulated to as a fact by both sides. The only evidence that you can accept in determining the issue is that which has been produced from the witness stand or by stipulation of counsel for the parties, or such presumptions of law as the court may give to you, bearing upon the facts in the case. Okay. I have an interesting article here. This says, woman believed dead stirs in time to stop autopsy. All right. Oops. Okay, here we go. Ready? This is in Champaign, Illinois. A young woman who was believed to have died from a drug overdose stirred as a pathologist was about to perform an autopsy on her, authorities said. The detective who found her called it a miracle. The pathologist termed it a fluke. The woman, brought Thursday to the Burnham City Hospital morgue by police as an apparent drug overdose victim, was reported in satisfactory condition Saturday, a spokeswoman said. I'm telling you, I've seen dead people 100 times in my life, and she was dead, Champaign Police Detective Gary Wright said. I saw a resurrection. I'm going to my grave believing she had a second chance, and this is a miracle. Stanley Babowski, the hospital pathologist, who believed the woman to be dead, said it was a medical fluke. Police and hospital officials have withheld the identity of the woman, who was believed to be in her 20s. Police were called to the woman's apartment Thursday afternoon and found her lying on the floor after apparently taking alcohol and drugs, Wright said. Since investigators weren't sure what happened, they sealed off the apartment and did not send the woman to the morgue for 2 hours, Wright said. But when she was placed on the morgue table at the hospital, Wright said he noticed her swallowing and she was rushed to the emergency room.
Wow. All right.
He had found her already. Oh no, she thought. Lord, no. Eyes filling with tears of despair, filled with nausea, the young woman sagged against the window frame as she stared through a crack in the blinds. The battered Ford pickup, as gray as the turbulent Atlantic Ocean, a few hundred yards up the road, eased to a stop in front of her house in this pretty neighborhood of Crowell, Massachusetts, north of Boston. This was the very truck she had come to dread, the truck that regularly careened through her dreams, sometimes with its tires on fire, sometimes shooting blood from its tailpipe, sometimes piloted by an invisible driver bent on tearing her heart from her chest. Oh no. The engine shut off and tapped as it cooled. The dusk light was failing, and the interior of the pickup was dark, but she knew the occupant was staring at her. In her mind, she could see his features as clearly as if he were standing 10 feet away in broad August sunlight. Carrie Swanson knew he would have that faint smile of impatience on his face, that he would be tugging an earlobe marred with 2 piercings long ago, infected and closed up, leaving an ugly scar. She knew his breathing would be labored, her own breath in panicked gasps. Hands trembling, Carrie drew back from the window. Crawling to the front hallway, she tore open the drawer of a small table and took out the pistol. She looked outside again. The driver didn't approach the house. He simply played his all too familiar game, sitting in the front seat of his old junker and staring at her. He had found her already, just 1 week after she had moved here. He had followed her over 2,000 miles. All the efforts to cover her tracks had been futile. Her brief peace she had enjoyed was gone. David Dale had found her. Carrie, born Catherine Kelly Swanson, was a sensible, pleasant-mannered 28-year-old who had been raised in the Midwest by a loving family. She was a natural-born student with a degree to her name and plans for a PhD. Her career until the move here, fashion modeling, had provided her with both a large investment account and a chance to work regularly in such pampering places as Paris, Cape Town, London, Rio, and Bermuda. She drove a nice car, had always bought herself modest but comfortable houses, and had provided for her parents. It was a seemingly inviolable life, and yet Carrie Swanson had been forever plagued by a debilitating problem. She was utterly beautiful. She had hit her full height, 6 feet at 7, and her weight hadn't varied more than a pound or so off its present mark of 121. Her hair was a shimmery natural golden, and her skin had a flawless, translucent eggshell tone that often left makeup artists with little to do at photo shoots but dab on the currently in vogue lipstick and eyeshadow. That her spellbinding beauty could be a liability was a lesson she had learned early. All right, so that concludes our literary and jury charge for the 160 class. Have a great day.